under item 6, which is a review by the Resident Services Select Committee, Homeless Prevention and the Customer Journey. And can I therefore invite the chair of that committee, Councillor Wayne Bridges, to come and address us. Young Wayne.
Thank you, Deputy Leader, and good evening, Cabinet. As Chairman of the Resident Services Select Committee, I am pleased to present the findings of the Committee's comprehensive review into homelessness prevention and the customer journey. The primary aim of the Committee's review was to understand the challenges residents face in assessing homelessness services and to identify practical, cost-effective ways to improve their experience. Homelessness is a complex and deeply rooted issue that demands a coordinated and compassionate response. Throughout our review, we have remained acutely aware of the growing demand for these services, driven by factors such as evictions from private rental housing and the ongoing shortage of affordable homes. Our review highlighted several key findings. Firstly, the importance of prevention and early intervention in addressing homelessness cannot be overstated. We noted the positive impact of partnerships with the voluntary sector organisations such as Trinity and Thames Reach, which provide essential support for rough sleepers and those with complex needs. Secondly, we identified the need for improved communication and empathy from housing officers. Training in trauma-informed issues and the use of appropriate language are essential to ensure that residents feel understood and supported throughout their journey. Additionally, we noted the importance of better systems and technology for case handovers, as well as the need for continuous feedback from residents to drive service improvements. Based on these findings, we have made several recommendations to enhance the resident experience, manage expectations, improve staff support and training, and foster stronger partnerships and collaboration. These include creating a residents' charter, reconfiguring the housing reception centre, and promoting continuous feedback from residents. The review also recommends introducing online pre-assessment tools and exploring automated text reminders for appointments. In addition, we suggest developing a comprehensive peer support and training programme in collaboration with partner organisations building on existing partnerships to create a broader support network for residents. The recommendations in our report aim to support a more effective and compassionate homelessness service in Hillingdon. I would like to formally acknowledge the committee members for their work throughout the process, as well as the officers and partner organisations whose expertise and support have been instrumental to the success of this review. So I commend this report to Cabinet.
Thank you, Councillor Bridges. Councillor Tutwell.
Thank you, Deputy Leader. And I'd like to place on record my full support for you and the presentation just given by Councillor Bridges. This has been a very thoughtful and in-depth piece of work by the Resident Services Select Committee, and I would like again to place on record my thanks to the Chair, Vice Chair and all members involved in the collaborative and constructive way that they have approached this review. My thanks also goes to our officers and external partners who have supported this process, particularly those who have participated in witness sessions and facilitated site visits. The recommendations set out in this report are both pragmatic and very resident focused. They align with our ongoing priorities, improving the experience of residents at every stage of the housing journey, building stronger partnerships and making best use of our resources. It gives me pleasure to move the recommendations for Cabinet approval. Thank you.
Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. Item 7. Temporary Accommodation Action Plan Monitoring. Councillor Tutwell.
Back to me, and thank you, Deputy Leader. Okay, this is the first quarterly update of the Temporary Accommodation Strategy and Action Plan that was agreed by Cabinet in February earlier this year. I'm pleased to report some good progress that is being made in key areas, increasing supply, driving down costs, and improving prevention work, but demand on pressures remained high. In terms of TA placements per month, we have a target of less than 50 TA placements per month, and we are currently just slightly above that at 56, but it's still a big reduction on where we were earlier in the year. We've seen success in reducing evictions from family and friends, but private landlord evictions still remain high. Homeless prevention rates have risen to 40% in May, and that is an increase from where we were just 14% in April, so that is another good news story. We've also seen an increase in private sector property allocations, and we are now averaging 6 per week, and we are on track with the action plan. We also have increasing landlord engagement, and we have our first new landlord forum launching in July. I think it's next week actually at the Battle of Britain bunker. In terms of reducing temporary accommodation, we have a strong performance in this area. We have placements above the cap that is now set. We have reduced that cap from 320 nightly rentals down to 153 in just 2-month period, and we are on track to hit our target of 0 by the end of the year. We've also seen a major increase in leasing. Recently, Cabinet approved 87 new homes at Fraserwater Place, and we are underway, and we have now revised our target and increased it to 210 leased homes. The original target was just 100. In May, temporary accommodation costs reduced by £77,000 per month from where we were earlier in the year, and the full year effect of this is £924,000 in savings. In terms of governance, we have weekly and monthly governance in place at Cabinet level with good oversight. We now have our Power BI dashboards giving us an enhanced look at our casework and data integrity, and we have new policy measures including one reasonable offer approach, which is now embedded. In terms of the next steps, we are looking to accelerate landlord engagement and bringing empty homes back into use and making good progress on that, finalise the landlord incentive package and continue to reduce costs in step down in rates and scaling on lease property use. In conclusion, Deputy Leader, whilst the challenges remain, this report demonstrates that our strategic and ongoing work is working. With over £924,000 projected savings already realised, we can see an increase in housing supply and improving outcomes for our residents. This approach is helping to stabilise one of the Council's most significant and financial pressures. Cabinet colleagues, I move the recommendation to note this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tuckwell. Well, this is indeed a good news story. Homelessness is a very serious issue for our residents, in particular those who are made homeless. It's a very serious issue, and for us it's a huge financial burden. And improving it all around the piece, both for those who find themselves in that unfortunate position and from a financial perspective to us, to process it better, get better results all round, and making progress in the way we are is clearly a step in the right direction. We've got more to do, that's undoubted, and that's been set out in your words. Can I therefore point everybody at the recommendation on page 66 that we note this report. Is that agreed? Thank you. Item 8, capital funding allocation for education and SEND. Councillor O'Brien.
Thank you, Deputy Leader. Agenda item 8, as you just said, the capital funding allocation for education and SEND. So this report is seeking the rephasing of £6,065 from the 24 to 2025 budget to be moved into the 2025-2026 budget. This total comprises of two budgets, £4.765 million of funding, grant funding, and £1.3 million from council funding. This is to create a secondary school expansion for the SEND budget. The council has to ensure that there are sufficient school places for children, including those with educational needs across educational sectors, and there are currently 81 more places in primary resource provisions than in the secondary sector. Children's special educational needs has grown significantly since the 2014 government reforms, and the number of children requiring specialist provision has exceeded the capacity of the provision within Hillingdon. Over the past 5 years, we have addressed this within the maintained primary sector to change that dynamic, and now we are moving into the maintained secondary sector. Our building special school places for the future will continue to allow us to develop more provision to accommodate the range of needs that are coming forward and that are required, including within the expansion of the specialist resource provisions and the designated unit places. In addition, I'm requesting the approval of £540,000 for internal adaptations to be carried out at Bishop Ramsey, which is a secondary school in the north of the borough, which will create an additional 32 places within a specialist resource provision within the school. The remaining amount will be allocated for future special educational needs unit projects, and the recommendations are on page 84 of the full council agenda, or on page 2 of the actual agenda. And item 8, and I therefore move.
Thank you, Councillor O'Brien. Councillor Goddard, did you want to speak? No, fine. In that case, you have moved the recommendations at the top of page 84. All 4 of them, are they agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. Item 9, the UK Shared Prosperity Fund, the 25-26 allocation. Councillor Tuckwell.
Thank you, Deputy Leader. Back to me again. I'm pleased to present the proposals for Hillingdon's 25-26 allocation of the UK Shared Prosperity Fund, totalling just over 1.1 million, which also includes a very successful tri-borough bid alongside the London Borough of Ealing and the London Borough of Harrow. Although funding has been slashed nationally this year, but we've still got our 1.1 million. I'm just going to go through how we're allocating that. This is entirely externally funded with no impact on our core budget, and will directly support our ambitions for a thriving local economy, vibrant town centres and better opportunities for residents and businesses. Our approach reflects 3 national investment priorities, which is communities and place, supporting local businesses and people and skills. Under capital funding, we are investing £665,000 into our town centres. Here in Uxbridge, we'll move forward with priority projects such as the Uxbridge Vision, introducing improvements to the Station Square, St Andrews Roundabout and the Civic Centre forecourt, plus early work on a very exciting business innovation hub here in the Civic Centre in partnership with Brunel University and the Hillingdon Chamber of Commerce. In Hayes, we will deliver upgrades in and around the canal and train station approach, targeting areas known with safety issues and poor visibility, including better lighting and signage. We've also set aside funding for our shopfront improvements in other high streets, ensuring borough-wide benefit. The revenue funding will continue to support delivered over the past year. We've supported over 350 residents, received employment and training support, helping many long-term residents back into work. We've supported 200 small businesses that were supported to grow and expand, even some moving into larger premises, and 108 small medium-sized enterprises were specifically prepared for bidding in major procurement markets. This year we are building on that success, and around 100 SMEs will benefit from the new programme of business mentoring and targeted support, including help on underrepresented entrepreneurs. A dedicated employment brokerage service will connect local people with work, particularly those furthest from the job market. And through the Tri-Borough project, we will help 95 businesses ready to win large-scale contracts, equipping them with the tools to compete and succeed. This is a smart and strategic use of external funding that builds on proven delivery, supports our town centres and strengthens our local economy and creates new opportunity for residents and businesses alike. As Cabinet will be aware, the Government has confirmed in the recent spending review that the UK Shared Prosperity Fund will not continue beyond March 2026. That makes this year's allocation not just important, but likely to be our last opportunity to use this external funding to its full potential for the benefit of Hillingdon's residents and businesses. I therefore move the 4 recommendations set out in the agenda paperwork. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tuckwell. That is no doubt, albeit that this is probably the last year we're going to receive anything, it's nonetheless a welcome grant that we can put to good use this year. The 4 recommendations are shown at the top of page 96. Are they agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Thank you. Item 10 is the preview of matters to be considered later in private. There are 3 matters, I think I'm right. 4 matters, I beg your pardon. There are 4 matters in the latter part. Item 11, the purchase of street sweepers. One thing I will say is that we are intending, assuming the purchase is confirmed in part 2, to hold a competition for naming the sweepers. We think that it will be a good thing for children in our primary schools, well, maybe even in our secondary schools. I'm not sure of the definition of those we can invite to compete, but we thought it would be an entertaining and extra something for kids to be involved with. So we will be holding a competition to name each of the sweepers. There will have to be a degree of oversight just to make sure that nothing inappropriate is put forward. Item 12 is a contract variation for fire safety works at schools. Item 13, a contract for revenue, benefits and housing and other corporate solutions. And finally, item 4 is non-domestic rate irrecoverable debt write-off, which is a periodic report that we have to pass. That is the conclusion of part 1. Can I ask you to break the link? And can I ask those present who are members of the public to leave, please?